Now, talking about 3 stages life cycle. So there are 4 organisms that you need to know. Yeah, so these 4 organisms, okay, are usually tested. So they are commonly tested, okay, in exam. So I want you to know, to remember the name of the stages, okay, the characteristics of each stage. Then, okay, there are some special characteristics that you also need to remember. So let us begin with chicken. So we can see that chicken has 3 stages of life cycle. So the first stage is the egg. The second stage is the young. And the third stage is the adult. Now, my question is, how do you compare the adult and the young? So what is the, okay, so what are the characteristics of the young, or okay, or what are the characteristics of the chick? And so the young of chicken is called the chick, right? So can you mention one characteristic of the chick? They cannot fly. Yes, okay, so or it cannot fly. So the chick cannot fly. I mean, the adult also cannot fly. Yeah, so for the chicken. But then, how about the looks of the chick? That the chick looks like the adult. Yeah, so the chick or the young of the chicken looks like the adult. Can you mention one other characteristic? Don't know who. Okay, so you mentioned that the adult can reproduce while the chick cannot. Okay, so these are the 2 characteristics of the young of the chicken that you need to know. First one, the young of the chicken or the chick resemble the adult or looks like the adult. And the second one is that the chick or the young of the chicken are not able to reproduce. Yeah, so these are the 2 characteristics that of the chick that you need to remember. So that is for the chicken. Then how about the frog? So the frog also have 3 stages of life cycle. So it's the egg, the young, and the adult. But the young of frog, what is it called? Okay, so it's the tadpole. Yes, okay, so it's the tadpole. So I need to write this down so that you know the name of it. So it's tadpole. Now, for the egg of the frog, it is different from the egg of the chicken. Why? For the egg of the chicken, it is covered with hard shell. But the egg of frog is covered with jelly-like substance. Yeah, so why? Because the eggs are being laid in water, while the eggs of chickens, okay, are being laid on land. Yeah, so that's why, okay, for the eggs of the frogs, like, it doesn't have to have the hard covering because it is in water. Then when the eggs, okay, becomes the young, so we call it as tadpole. Now, I want you to mention the characteristics of the tadpole if you compare it with the adult. Tadpole breathe through gills. Yeah, so if I zoom this in, so you can see that tadpole breathe through gills. Okay. So it has tail, lives in water. And one more characteristic that you need to remember about the tadpole, they do not look like the adult, or they do not resemble the adult. Even though the frogs have 3 stages of life cycle. So I repeat again, even though the frogs have 3 stages of life cycle, their young, which are called the tadpoles, do not resemble the adult. Yeah, so that's why, okay, you need to know this. Okay, it is different from the chicken, the young of the chicken as compared to the adult. Yeah, the young of the chicken, or the chick, resembles the adult, while tadpoles or the young of the frog does not resemble the adult. Yep. So, and of course, okay, one more characteristics is that the young is not able to reproduce. Yeah, so the tadpole cannot reproduce. Only the adult can. Yeah, so for the adult, okay, they can live in water and they can live on land as well. Okay, for tadpole, it is only in water. That's it. Okay, it cannot go to the land. Okay, so they cannot do that. Then the adult can reproduce, and the adult breathe through lungs. Okay, not only lungs, the adult also breathe through one part of the body. Can you mention it? The frog or the adult frog also breathe through moist skin. I think, yeah. Okay, a lot of you actually mentioned moist skin as well. Okay, so good job. Yeah, so the adult frog breathe through moist skin. Okay, so that is for the frog. Then, how about the cockroach? So I think most of you do not like cockroaches. I don't like cockroaches as well. Yeah, so okay, it feels like weird. Now, for the cockroaches, so okay, cockroaches are insect. So and okay, most insects okay breed okay reproduce by laying eggs. So the first stage of cockroach life cycle is the egg. Yeah, so the egg then okay hatch and become the young. So what is the young called? What is the young of the cockroach called? How about larva? Can you mention larva for the young of cockroach? Can you do that? Can you like okay name the young of cockroach as larva? Oh, Givat mentioned that larva is the young of insects which have 4 stages of life cycle. Yeah, so please remember that nymph and larva are totally different. Nymph is for insects which have 3 stages of life cycle. Then for larva, so larvae are the youngs of insects which have 4 stages of life cycle. Why is it not called the young? You can mention the young, but there is a keyword that you need to mention. So nymph and larva are the proper keywords that you need to use in the answer. If okay, the answer require that. Yeah, so you should not mention, oh, the young of cockroach. No. Okay, so instead you have to mention the nymph of cockroach. Okay, so the last one is the grasshopper. So grasshopper is similar to cockroach. Yeah, so the young of grasshopper is called the nymph as well. Yeah, so the young of cockroach is called the nymph. So remember that nymph resemble the adult. Yeah, so the nymph resemble the adult. But then what is the difference between the nymph and the adult? The nymphs do not have wings, but the adult have. Very good. The nymph molts, but the adult doesn't molt. Both nymphs and adult actually molts. Okay, so I guess no question. So let us now go to the animals which have 4 stages of life cycle. Now, you only need 3 organisms for the ones with 4 stages of life cycle. So first one is butterfly, second one is beetle or mealworm beetle, then the third one is mosquito. So I think some of you later will look after mealworm beetle. Yeah, so your teacher will give you like some mealworm beetle for you to look after. Okay, so let us go back again. So butterfly, okay, so it has 4 stages of life cycle. So the egg, the larva, pupa, and the adult. Now I want you to mention the differences, the characteristics of larva. Can you mention the characteristics of larva? They molt. What else? Does a larva look like the adult? No. Okay, remember, larva does not look like the adult. Okay, and larva usually eats a lot. Why? Okay, anyone know why larva tends to eat a lot? To grow? Not only to grow, but they need to prepare for pupa. Why, Cha? Okay, so because when larva becomes pupa, they cannot eat. And so the larva is inside pupa and they cannot eat. So that's why, okay, they need to eat a lot before they become pupa. Because they cannot eat, they cannot move. The only thing that they can do is breathing and growing. Yeah, so there are a lot of changes happening in pupa. Yeah, so then when pupa stage, okay, is finished, then the adult emerges from pupa. Yeah, so the beautiful adult, so butterfly. Okay, so then for beetle, it is similar. Yeah, so it is egg, larva, pupa, and adult as well. So mosquito is a little bit different. Why? Because there are 3 stages where, okay, so the 3 stages of mosquito live in water. Can you mention all these 3 stages which live in water for mosquito? Okay, so yes, okay, so it's egg, larva, and pupa. Yeah, so these 3 stages of mosquito actually live in water. Yeah, so then the adult, okay, have wings, okay, and they are able to reproduce. Okay, so we are done with the recap. So now what are we going to learn? So for today's lesson, I want you to be able to differentiate between the stages in 3 stages life cycle organism and 4 stages, okay, organism. Okay, 4 stages life cycle organism. Yeah, so I want you to compare, okay, to make a comparison between these stages. Yeah, so I think, okay, I asked you some of them in the previous slide. Now, let us now see the first bubble question. Which of the following represent headings A and B correctly? Okay, so I will start right now. Frog and mosquito. So let us look at their stages of life cycle. How many stages does the frog have? How many stages of life cycle does a frog have? 4 or 3? So which one? Okay, so frogs have 3 stages of life cycle. Okay, then how about mosquito? How many stages does the mosquito have? Oh, okay, you look at my hand. Okay, it's 4. Yeah, so 4 stages life cycle, but they are in the same group. Why? What makes them belong in the same group? Molts when young. Does the young of frog, the tadpole molt? No. Okay, so you can just use elimination method. Lays egg in water. Okay, is this, okay, heading true? Yeah. Both mosquito and frogs lay egg in water. Yeah, the adults of mosquito and frogs lay their eggs in water. So this one is correct. Has 4 stages? No. Okay, the frog has 3 stages instead. And plant eater? No. Okay, so for frog, they are not plant eater. They are animal eater. Okay, so that's why, okay, since there's only one option that is correct, then we don't have to check heading B. Yeah, so the answer is number 2. Okay, moving on to the second bubble question. State one difference between stage Y and the larva. So please do not compare the size, the color, the shape. Yeah, so can you compare stage Y and the larva? So you need to identify what stage Y is, and then you make comparison between them. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I'll start right now. So stage Y, what is it? So just now I mentioned that stage Y is pupa. So how do you compare pupa and the larva? The animals in larval stage feeds while animal in stage Y does not. Yes, I told you that pupal stage. Okay, so let's say the butterfly. Okay, the butterfly in pupal stage does not eat. Yeah, so that's why when they are still in larval stage, they eat a lot. Yeah, so that they are prepared not to eat for quite a period of time. Yeah. Then the animals in larval stage does not molt. No. Okay, so larva stage molts. The animal in larval stage breathe through the lungs, while animals in stage Y breathe through gills. No. Okay, so so larva, this one must be the young of. Can larva be the young of frog? No. Okay, so larva has to be insects, right? The animal is butterfly. No, okay, it can be mosquito as well. Yeah, as long as it is insect and it has 4 stages of life cycle, then the young is called larva. Yeah, so this one is incorrect. The animal in larva stage is bigger than animal in stage Y. Yeah, no, okay, so this one is incorrect. Okay, so very good. I think most of you answered this question correctly. Then how about this question? So you compare the characteristics between life cycle of mosquito and mealworm beetle. So which of the comparison or comparisons is or are correct? So which one is correct? So the answer is A and B only. Why? Does the young of mealworm beetle resemble the adult? No. Okay, so the young of mealworm beetle does not resemble the adult. Yeah, so larva does not resemble the adult. Yes, that's why C is incorrect while the other characteristics and comparisons are correct. Very good. Then how about this? Which of the following comparisons between life cycle of mosquito and that of butterfly are correct? Okay, so let's see. Lays egg in water. Butterfly, no. This one is correct. Okay. Mosquito, yes. So A is correct. Butterfly has 4 stages life cycle. Yes. Mosquito 4 stages of life cycle. Yes. Butterfly young resemble the adult. Is it correct? Is the young of butterfly resembling the adult? No. Okay, so then for mosquito, yeah, okay, the young doesn't resemble the adult. It is a pest in larval stage. Okay, no. Do you think this one is correct or false? So what do you think about this one? Is it correct or is it false? Why? Why is it false? The young of butterfly or the larva of butterfly, okay, so the larva of butterfly eats the leaves of the crop. They can destroy the crops. Yeah, so that's why they are considered pests. Yeah, so this one is incorrect. So that's why C and D are out. So the correct ones is A and B. Okay, very good. So you look at this diagram. The left one is the cockroach and the right one is mosquito. Which of the following statements about these two organisms are correct? Okay, are you ready? I'll launch right now. So remember, it's asking the correct statements. What is the answer? So both organisms lay their eggs in water. Do cockroaches lay egg in water? Make it 5 minutes. That one is too long. Do cockroaches lay eggs in water? No. Both organisms have 6 legs at the adult stage. Is this statement true or false? Yes. Why? Because all insects have how many legs? All insects have 6 legs. So is there other organism that has 6 legs? No. Okay, only insects have 6 legs. How many body parts do insects have? 1 pair or 2 feelers? Yeah. So this one correct. The young of both organisms look like the adult. Is this statement correct or false? Very good. Yeah, so the larva of mosquito does not look the adult. How about the young or the larva of butterfly? Sorry, the nymph of cockroach. Does the nymph of cockroach look like the adult? Yes. So this statement only applies to cockroach, but not the mosquito. Yeah, so that's why this one is incorrect. Both organisms have 4 stages in their life cycle. Obviously, no. Yeah, why? Because you can see that for the cockroach, there are only 3 stages in its life cycle. Yeah, so that's why this one is correct. So the answer is is 1. Yeah, so remember only the correct statements. Yeah, so that's why the answer is 1. Why? Because B is the only correct statement. Number 6. So you see, now is cockroach with butterfly. Which of the following statements about the 2 life cycles is false? Okay, remember the question is asking for the false statement. So which one is the false? I get the false statement. Okay, I'll launch the option right now. Okay, so which one is false? The caterpillar molts, but the nymph doesn't. So what do you think? Is this correct or no? Yes, the nymph also molt. Remember the young of both insects. So in this case, the larva and the nymph, they both molt. That's why this statement is incorrect. The pupa does not take in food, but the nymph does. Yes, pupa does not eat. The young of butterfly and cockroach. Okay, so because we are looking for the one with false statement, so that's why the answer is number 1. Okay, so any question so far? Yeah. So let's move on to question 7. Now you see the nymph of cockroach and caterpillar. So which of the following statement is true for the cockroach nymph, but false for the caterpillar? Okay, so let's see the option one by one. It eats a lot. Is this statement true for nymph and false for caterpillar? No, why? I told you. The larva of butterfly or caterpillar actually eats a lot. You know, a single caterpillar can eat a lot of leaves. Okay, they can destroy a plant. Yeah, so that's why they are considered pests because they eat a lot of leaves. It moves around. I mean, both of them move around, right? So this one is incorrect. It resembles the adult. Is it true for the nymph? Yes, it is true for the nymph. But is it true for larva? No. So that's why option 3 satisfies the condition. Yeah. That's why the answer is number 3. So, any question? Okay, so for number 8. Oh, wait, I think, yeah, so the answer is number 3. So for number 8, how are the life cycles of butterfly, mosquito, and mealworm beetle similar? Okay, so I want you to choose the correct ones. Okay, so the correct comparison. Yeah, so the insects, on the other hand, has exoskeleton to protect the body. Which one? Okay, so the young resemble the adult. Is it true for all these 3 organisms? No, it doesn't. Okay, the young doesn't resemble the adult. So the larva does not resemble the adult. They have 4 stages in their life cycle. Is it true? Mosquito, mealworm beetle, and butterfly. Do they have 4 stages of life cycle? Yes. They do not eat when they are at the pupa stage. Is it true for all these organisms? Yes. Okay. Okay. So the pupa stage for all insects do not eat. They feed on similar food when they are at larva and pupal stage. Is it true or false? No. I mean, they eat different food. Yeah. So this one is incorrect. So it is X and Y only. Okay. So moving on to this work example. Okay, so now state one similarity between the life cycle of X and life cycle of Y. Both animal X at stage C and animal Y at stage Q. So stage C and Q. So how do you compare them? Molds. Okay, very good. Okay, both of them actually mold or undergo molting. Or both animal X and animal Y eats a lot. So how do you compare them? Eat a lot? No. Okay, so you see them. Okay, so what is the similarity between animal X and animal Y? So both animal X and Y have egg stage, okay, or adult stage. So remember that you have to compare the life cycle of these 2 organisms. Yeah, so remember, you are to compare the life cycle. It is not just the characteristics of animal X and Y. It has to be related to the life cycle. Okay, so this one, okay, I want you to put 1. So the answer is 1. Since most of you answered correctly, so I want you to choose 1. Moving on to this question, which of the following similarities and differences of the life cycle above is or are definitely true? Okay, so what is the answer? The answer is number 1. Okay, so let us just straight away go to the next question. Okay, so this one is very easy. Common to all these 3 organisms. Okay, so what is the answer for this one? This one, they all lay eggs. Yeah, so it's very obvious. Okay, and the last question. Okay, so the last question. So what is the answer? The answer is number 2. Okay, so that will be all for our lesson today. So I hope that you learn a lot and you enjoy the lesson as well.